If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is December the 2nd, 2023, and today the topic is free will. Yes, once again, your girl is thinking about free will. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope that you guys had a fabulous Friday. Mine was just fine. Thank you to those of you all that tuned in to the GSL Talk Show and watched the episode with Mr. George Kalea. Thank you again, Mr. George, for visiting us. And if you missed it, all you got to do is go to GodSexandLove.com, and it should be our featured video on the website. So, yesterday for me, man, it was pretty cool overall. It was a pretty chill day at home. And the main things was trying to catch up on rest a little bit. Also was kind of working on some things because, you know, like I said, making some arrangements for the show that's supposed to be happening later on this month. And so I was talking to the actress that I am going to be sending to do the one-woman show, things of that nature. So we were taking time to chit-chat about that. And then later on, I finally got lunch, all this different type of stuff. Now, here's a cool thing that happened, y'all. So, I want to say it was kind of like after I had talked to the actress, which is my homegirl Summer, in case you are curious to know. But basically, after I got done chit-chatting with her, I think I might have ate lunch, or maybe it was before I ate lunch, but whenever it was, I'm just going through my emails, doing, you know, what I do. And I got an email from my shoe connection, and they have informed me that my shoe, the Black Girl Magic shoe from Littlefoot, is going to be featured in Vanity Fair. It's going to be on the Vanity Fair online website, but still, I mean, how cool is that? So, that's exciting news. I guess it's going to be featured on their website between December 11th and the 15th. So when we get more information, of course, we'll share and things of that nature. But that was pretty cool to get that email yesterday. So I did take a screenshot of it and I shared it on my social media to let y'all know that that is coming around the corner. But yeah, hopefully we'll get more information for you guys to see and hear and know what's going on with your girl and the shoe brand and everything, really. So I'm just grateful, man. It's just another example of stepping out on faith, investing in yourself, going for your God-given dreams and visions. And I hope that I can be encouraging and inspiring to you, whoever you are, listening to the sound of my voice, watching the show, whatever the case may be. You know, sometimes you just got to step out on faith. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to invest in yourself. Sometimes you just got to believe in yourself and make moves, you know, to get you to the place where you want to be. And I guess that kind of leads to this conversation today because, you know, I share with you guys my journey all the time, right? I share with you guys the ups and downs and what it looks like and what I'm doing and things of that nature. And I would say that God has been blessing in the midst of all of my sharing. So I do feel like, man, I'm just in this winning season. I'm just like every month or, you know, it's like I got something great to tell y'all, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. Because again, I totally felt the opposite years ago. So to be in this place today is definitely a blessing, you know, and I don't take that lightly. I try to give, again, all glory and honor to the Lord and things of that nature. And I would tell anybody, right, to do the same. If you feel like, oh, I'm not in a season of winning, I'm not in a season of, you know, seeing my desires and dreams and goals and visions and all these things come to fruition, I tell you guys for free what I've done, and I've already been doing that. I'm putting my faith and trust in the Lord. I'm exercising that faith and trust through the things I do and create and everything, right? And God has just been doing his part, you know? And I know it might sound crazy to those that don't believe, but hey, I guess I'm not talking to you if you're one of those people. But if you are a believer and everything like that, we have to start exercising our faith. And so with that being said, it gets hard for me sometimes, right? Because I tell you guys often that, I'm talking to a variety of people, and, every now and then it's like I'm trying to encourage and inspire the next person to, do whatever they see me doing. Like if they see things in me that they desire, if they want to start winning, if they want whatever it is, I just try to be open and honest about what got me here, because at the end of the day, um, one, people hold on to their gems like that, right? They won't tell you that it was the Lord or something like that, and then they'll charge you all kinds of money to come to their website or their workshop or whatever it is to learn the secrets, right? The secrets of the kingdom, which ultimately, is like we were talking about yesterday, just God-given gifts, Even when I read the book, The Secret, I know people just kept going on and on about it. And for a long time, I didn't necessarily want to read it, but there was this lady that I knew that she just kept telling me about it. And then she felt so strongly about it to where she let me borrow her copy because she wanted me to read it so bad. And I read it, and as I was reading it, I'm sitting here like, this ain't nothing but faith. This ain't nothing but, y'all ain't calling it faith, and y'all not saying God. You're saying the universe, and you're saying manifestation or whatever. But this ain't nothing but just exercising faith. Like that's all I saw when I read it. And so, but again, somebody will put all of it in a book, call it something else, and tell you, $9.99 or whatever the case may be. And don't get me wrong, hey, I got books or whatever. You know what I mean? Yes, I've shared my journey and things that I've learned along, the years and whatever, again, and the single days and stuff like that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with creating in order to, sell or whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is, if somebody's willing to give you the information for free, then, it might be beneficial to at least consider, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you, again, admire something in them or want something they have or whatever the case may be, right? And it gets difficult sometimes to give advice. It gets difficult sometimes to listen to people complain about life and complain about the things that they desire or whatever the case may be, because it's like, okay, I hear that, and that's valid. Don't get me wrong now. Don't get me wrong. I sit here and I've shared, again, the ups and the downs. So every time I come on here on the juice, it's not like everything is peaches and cream. Like I want to say, even last week, I was on a whole nother mindset in my own quote unquote slump or spiritual attack or whatever the case is. So I'm not, again, trying to minimize how someone feels about their situation. But what I'm saying is that after you get that out, right, you can vent whatever you need to do to get it out. Once you do that, what are you going to do? That's where I'm at. And I feel like if people come to me, right, then you want to do, not just say what I would do, but you would want to do something. Like, I'm not the type of person that's just going to be having the pity party with you. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not going to, lash out at you about how you feel. But what I'm saying is, at some point, I'm going to be trying to encourage you to, let's go to the next level now. You know what I mean? Okay, we acknowledge where we are. And so how can we get out of this? Like, that's the type of person I am. Right. And so, and I would think that people know that about me. So I would think, again, if someone comes to me for advice, they're going to know the type of advice already that they're going to get. They're going to get the type of advice that's like, hey, okay, let's acknowledge where we are, and then what can we do to get out of this, and where do we want to be, things like that. Not just talking to me because you just want to only stay in your pity party mindset. But what I have found, what I've had to do, and again, I guess I'm sharing all this testimony to hopefully again, encourage and inspire any capacity, whether you're somebody that's like me or whether you're somebody like the people that I talk to. So basically, what I've had to learn, right, in the midst of this is that people still have their free will, right? People still have their timing and things that they have to go through. So as much as I would love, right, to just make decisions for somebody, or I would love to just be able to just point someone in the direction and say, hey, there it is, sis, there it is, bro. Like, oh, X, Y, and Z. And I try my best to do that and be a helping hand. But at some point, like they say, you can't make the horse drink the water. You can lead them there, but if they don't want to drink, that's still their choice. And with all of that on my heart and mind this morning, I would say that's where this conversation about free will was inspired from. It was kind of inspired by this idea of, again, I think I've asked this question over and over again to the Lord. Like, I get it. I know why God gave us free will, and I know that at the end of the day, again, like, we can't be robots. We can't be the Sims games, or something like that. Like, if he just made it to where we could only do what he wanted us to do and stuff like that, we would be living a totally different life and it wouldn't be freedom. And I think, again, we understand that concept because there's people that try to control other people across the world. They call it slavery, they call it trafficking, they call it work. They call it all kinds of things, but it's like you're trying to control someone else or whatever in their life and what they do, and they call it government. They call it a variety of things. But we understand that doesn't necessarily work, right? We don't like that. We want our freedom. We want choices. We want to be able to do what we want to do, X, Y, and Z. So on one hand, like I said, I ask God all the time, like, Lord, this free will thing, I don't get why you gave it to us, because we don't do what we're supposed to do. We don't choose to follow you. And then, unfortunately, we reap the consequences of those actions. And it's like, and then we don't deserve it. It ain't like we're like, oh, yes, we deserve to have the free will and all the good things in life and whatever. Like, I don't know if we deserve it as humans and things like that. And so, yeah, I do question, like, well, Lord, I mean, because again, would I have given everybody free will knowing that all of these things was going to happen? I don't know. But at the same time, too, again, how can we freely love? How can we freely choose? How can we do any of that if we didn't have it? So I get it. I totally understand why. And if you guys got to go deeper about that, again, our friends over there at Cross Examine, they have tackled this subject and I believe explained it in a beautiful way. So I'm not necessarily tapping into that today in regards to like explaining why we have it and stuff like that. I just was kind of just thinking about it, again, the concept of free will and like, again, honoring other people's free will, because that's what I'm doing. I have to learn to honor other people's free will, understand that everybody has on their own journey and things like that. And I guess just remind us all of what this can look like. And so that's what I was led to study this morning. And so I would share what I feel like the Lord shared with me in regards to free will. I didn't even define it or anything like that. So again, if you got to do any of that type of stuff, then by all means go on and check it out and go deeper on your own. Shout out to my mama, y'all. She's tuning in live this morning. Good morning, mother. I hope all is well. Yeah, so free will, y'all. Free will. Let's see. Let's start with these verses here. So Deuteronomy 30, 19 and 20. It says, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life that you and your offspring may live, loving the Lord your God, obeying his voice and holding fast to him, for he is your life and length of days, that you may dwell in the land that the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give to them. So, or to give them. So, yeah, I mean, this is what the Lord has done. Again, I don't fully understand it sometimes. Like, Lord, we don't deserve it. But what he's done is given us the option of, it says here plainly, life and death, blessing and curse. And then he clearly says what he prefers us to do. He says, choose life. Do we do that as humans? No, we don't all do that. But we all have the ability and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have too much else to say about it. It just pretty much confirms everything that the Bible has to say. Like, there's plenty of verses that talk about the free will that we have, and again, we see it in our life. Like, we see that he's not forcing us to do anything, and that's why we feel some way about anybody else trying to force us to do anything. Because at the end of the day, it's like, God don't even force me to do, whatever he wants me to do. Like, I get to choose. And so again, we understand that concept earthly, because it's like, again, if anybody's forcing you to do anything, you probably don't like it. But then on the flip side, we take issue with God. Even though he gives us the free will to choose, we take issue with the consequences of making the choices that we make. When at the end of the day, we are the ones responsible for the choices we make. Just something to think about, y'all. Just something to think about. I mean, again, like I said, I get a little frustrated. Not say frustrated to the point where I'm mad or nothing. But what I'm saying is that, like, I don't know what better words to use, but either stressed, frustrated, anything like that. When it comes to like somebody would not just say not listening to my advice. It's hard for me to explain how I feel because I know that people got free will, so it's not that I don't care about them, but I'm at the point where I'm like, hey, use your free will. I'm here to assist you, but I also understand that you're on your own journey, and I can't take ownership of your journey, right? But so again, it's a process, right, of going through like, okay, wanting it so bad for the person, wanting the positive outcome, wanting to help, wanting to see them win, everything like that, but then also knowing that it's not up to me. And so I don't know if I'm getting like a small taste of what God could feel. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he wants the best for us, right? He wants us to win. He done told us plainly, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you do that, that's going to happen. Hey, you have the free will. And then it's like we mad. It's like we blame him, we're pointing the fingers, and we're mad about the choices that is really up to you. So, just something to think about. Let me share with you guys some verses. So, one of the first choices here or examples of this was back in Genesis. We know Adam and Eve. Again, we can just point the finger at them and blame them. But at the end of the day, let's please understand that if any one of us was in their shoes, we would have all did the same thing. That's the point. That's why Jesus had to do what he did. So let's humble ourselves and not look at Adam and Eve so bad. But anyway, let's just take a look at the first commandment or choice that they had. And it's Genesis 2:16 and 17. It says, and the Lord God commanded the man, saying, you may surely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Now, again, I know I've talked about this in the past, and you can go deeper about everything, and you're probably wondering, like, well, they technically didn't die, and da-da-da-da-da, did God lie? We can always go deeper and ask those type of questions, but I believe my understanding is their death was a spiritual one. Like, there was something within them, and obviously the connection with God that they had, and whatnot. That is what died. Who they truly are, I guess you would say. Because even again, we do understand the concept of us. What came in my mind says try to explain it is being here, but also not being here. Because, like, again, when someone passed away, their body is still here, but though the person is no longer there. So there's something to it, even if we doubt it, like, even if we don't believe in things like that, it's like, again, didn't we talk about spiritual realm yesterday? But if not, I mean, I'm sure at some point we can all go deeper about that side of things. But I believe, again, it was more so a spiritual death that he was referring to in that. But regardless of what the outcome, they had the choice, right? it was set before them, again, good and evil. It was set before them the choice to eat or not eat. And we know what they chose to do. And the consequences that not only it had on them, but on us all these years later. So, something to think about. Let me give you guys another verse. It is Mark 8:34. It says, and calling the crowd to him with his disciples, he said to them, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So, friends, I guess ultimately the juice this morning is just understanding that, okay, we do have free will, and understanding that everybody has it, not just you, right? So at the end of the day, honor everyone else's free will, give them that grace and mercy that God is giving you, right? Give that grace and mercy to others. Pray for them. Hopefully they, will make whatever change, do whatever they need to do, make whatever choices in a timely manner, and things of that nature. But yeah, understanding that we don't have control over anyone else's free will, just like God doesn't control ours. And ultimately, I guess, let's make the best decisions we can with our free will, y'all. Let's make the best choices that we can. And this is ultimately the juice this morning. Y'all can go deeper, put in your verses in the go deeper section to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. There's probably some things on gotquestions.org as well. I didn't go there at all today. I just pretty much, got these Bible verses from openbible.info. When I plugged in free will, those were the ones that were standing out to me. But again, you guys can, go check these things out for yourself and see what the Lord wants to say to you in regards to free will this morning. But ultimately, that is the juice. The Bible verse of today is Ephesians 2:8-9. It says, for by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, but it is the gift of God, not of works. Lest any man should boast. So, friends, there you go, man. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
Everyone is stuck at home, but life is still happening around us every day. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and celebrations. Send your friends and family the gift of wine from the comforts of home. Wine shop at home with Miracle of Wine. Wine, gift baskets, wine accessories, and more at miracleofwine.com.